people that I trust a lot to give me good advice. If it's not specifically about an issue, but politically, you've got to take a keen advice from people who will guide you and ultimately know that you have to make the decision yourself. I think probably dealing with the issues of the disparities between people, whether that between Maori and non-Maori, because the statistics as a minister and as a party, well, obviously we focus on our own people, believing that what's right, or if we can get something right for our people, it'll benefit the country. So the issue about disparities is an important one for us, and disparities not only by race but also by circumstance. So the issues to do with poverty are hugely important because they bounce on to health issues, to education issues, to employment issues, to having a house, all those sorts of things. They all are repping because everybody else can generally cope for themselves, but it's the ones that can't. That's where our heart is, really. I kind of like to think a commitment to the best interests of my people. Prior to being here, I was an educator and knew that when I had a group of students in front of me that my job was to educate them and teach them the best I could. But over and above that, I've sort of throughout my life have been involved in a number of things in Maori development in the wider sense, around everything from treaty issues and social justice issues which come from the treaty, through to, on a positive side, educating people. So what gets me up is probably the ongoing commitment to give the best I can back to my own people and therefore to the country. My experience has been that New Zealanders across the board, and I've done this for 12 years, actually don't have an understanding of the political environment. They don't know how many members of parliament there are, not that I did way back, but it's not just about National and Labour, because under MMP, and this is the most important thing, under MMP no one party can rule the country by themselves. That's just not possible, and that's the first point. Second point is they have to make friends with other parties, and then that becomes about who can work with who and who can contribute to the country in the best interest of all New Zealanders. We kind of like to think that we've been able to show that in the last 9 years, that we've worked with National. We've showed our willingness to work across other parties, no matter what their background, on an issue-by-issue basis, and that we think that we bring something special that is about being Aotearoa New Zealand, that is that Maori dimension. We think that we are very much bring a level-headed approach to how we conduct business. We're not in the grievance mode. We are very much forward-focused and in a positive frame of mind, and that's how we try to work agreements. So while we disagree with the national government some of the time, we try to work things through where they want to find a solution as well. Clearly, other times it's not possible because Parliament is all about numbers. If you haven't got the numbers, you can't play the game. And the last point I'll make is that unless, I'm really clear, that unless you are a part of the governing arrangement of this country, you are hamstrung to do anything. Therefore, our approach has always been to work cooperatively with the governing party of the day and hope that we've presented ourselves to New Zealand as a viable option. Because most New Zealanders don't recognise, and perhaps some of your congregation, they recognise that they can vote for the Maori Party with their party vote, and therefore contribute into, I suppose, a government utilising the Maori Party as a vehicle to do that. But that's their choice, their option, and that's what elections are all about. One of the things that I say to the people that I talk to is that they really don't recognise how to use MPs. We're supposed to be servants of the people. We are supposed to engage with people, and that we should be available to give a hand to anybody that needs it in a positive space to be able to give you positive information if you ask for how to find certain resource out of a government department, for everything from scholarships for education. But on the other side of the coin, we should be able to help you with advice because we have the resource available to us. And we should also be able to advise you when the chips are down and you need a hand. So the vast majority of the people that come to my office in Rotorua and Whakatane are those who are struggling to deal with a government agency, because the government agency does not hear them, both by ear and by heart, because many of them are struggling. And the job of my office, not me personally per se all of the time, but having an MP's office, is to help those who need a hand when asked.